What is Space Fleet? It is a goal for the betterment of the universe, for the betterment of life itself. And you assholes are fucking it up!
Greetings and welcome to the Prime Directive. I'm your host Jefficho. My co-host is always Chris. Say hi, Chris.
Hello.
Chris, what are we talking about today?
Today we are going to be talking about the first episode of Black Mirror's new season, Season 4, titled USS Callister.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to this. It was a very Star Trek episode, and it had a bunch of actors in it that I recognize. You know, we had the guy from Westworld.
Yep.
And I don't know if you watched How I Met Your Mother, but that's Ted's wife.
Yep. If you're a Star Trek fan, you definitely had your eye on this episode from the new Black Mirror season. It is a not so subtle nod to Star Trek. We've got our 60s style science fiction world going on. We've got our short skirts. We've got our bright colors. You know, this is just TOS in another universe.
Yeah, weren't you saying there's 3 different sort of ship models to this?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. We had 3 different looks at the ship they had to make for this. Right in the beginning, you have, when they first zoom out, you're getting sort of a really retro, grainy kind of model-looking version of the Callister. And then for most of the show, we're getting a very modern, good-looking CGI model of it. And then right at the end, and spoilers of course, when they remove all the mods from it, we're getting a third look at this Callister ship as it would exist in the base game.
Yeah, the very the JJ Apple iStore version of it.
Yep.
What happened? The mod's gone.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. You saw that on the wall at the back when he's walking in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I really liked all the shots of the ship. I thought it was very simple design and stuff, but they made it look really good. Everybody worries about the design of a ship in a Star Trek series, and then bam, it didn't even matter.
Yep, yeah, these guys got it right first try.
I guess we followed Robert Daly throughout his adventures, going to work and then going home and diving into this virtual world.
Mm-hmm. And, the actual just opening sequence of this show was fantastic. Our lead actor, Jesse Plemons, is of course channeling Shatner as hard as he possibly can. And we're even taking scenes right out of Wrath of Khan. Like, his delivery on fire was that's exactly what it was.
Fire!
The thing I really liked, it wasn't just a Shatner impression. He was literally talking perfectly like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it was also, it was really believable that this is just Star Trek as it exists in, some other timeline. It's like there always has to be a kitschy 60s sci-fi show in every reality, and this is just theirs. And it was, it was really interesting seeing the similarities and the differences. Also, Plemons put a lot of work into his Shatner impression for this. He'd never seen Star Trek before, but he spent a lot of time watching Trek, even listening to recordings of Shatner from in between takes, trying to get the mannerisms down in the delivery.
It's pretty impressive if you hadn't watched Trek before.
Yeah.
I really liked when just at the end of the mission, they're like, "Oh, so say all of us." Very similar to Battlestar Galactica, where the tagline was always like, "So say we all."
Yeah, I've never heard that ending to "He's a jolly good fellow," and I was wondering if that was I don't know. I was like, was that just a Battlestar thing, or is that maybe how they do it in Britain?
Maybe.
So say we all.
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 Hey, Chris, did you notice that they said, "God bless you, Captain"?
Yeah, I did.
There is a God in the USS Callister.
Yeah, apparently you can't say God on Discovery, but you can say it here.
Yeah.
That's just fine.
Yeah, it was an interesting difference. Like, you start off within Star Trek, and then you go to his real world office, and it's just like nobody. but he's running the company, but he's nobody to everybody there.
Yeah.
You would think he'd get a little more respect.
Well, I mean, they probably... We're looking at this, like, how many years in, and I think everyone's learned that he's just a complete dweeb and a pushover, and that's how people are going to treat him.
Well, I got very Barkley vibes when he went back in, and it seemed very therapeutic that he's, like, dressing everybody down, and I didn't get a total villain vibe at that point.
Oh, man. Nope.
Well, I mean, he wasn't being nice to them, but, like,
No,
in
he
the real
wasn't.
world, they were not being nice to him, so...
I guess. Maybe I just have more experience with Black Mirror than you do. I don't think you've been watching it, but...
Well, I was expecting a twist, but I think until you actually discovered that these were these people trapped in there...
Yep, and not just, like, holograms or whatever?
Exactly.
Okay.
So your answer is no.
I'm afraid so, sir.
I have a hard time, like, being mean to my Sims. Like, when I'm playing games, like, I have a hard time being mean to my video game people. So even then, I'm too much of a wimp. I couldn't do that.
I don't know if you remember me then at virtual reality. I was shooting that robot.
You were, and I was getting upset.
So it looks like Daly gets shit for having the patch not ready till Christmas Eve.
And that was completely his fault. He just gave the other guy the okay to just add all this stuff to it.
Yeah.
This guy's not good at his job. Apparently he's just like, an absolute god tier coder, but he just can't do anything else.
Christmas is closing in like a goddamn meteor. We've got customers all over our balls waiting for the Infinity update. Tell me it's gonna be up and running before the weekend.
Oh, I'll ask Kabir.
Your CTO, don't ask anybody anything. You should be telling people things like I'm fucking telling you right now.
His buddy Jim Simpson playing James Walton or whatever, like, he was a dick to him, but he pretty much needed, like, a head front guy for the company.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bit starey. I think the little coffee talk there, she was dead on with that.
Yep. And again, I think, like, this guy is clearly, he's got some problems and he does not treat people well. And that leads to him being treated poorly by people.
Yeah, he had the opportunity for, a real life girlfriend. She was spooning all over him.
Yeah. No, she wanted his
Big
code.
fangirl.
Yeah.
I was just gonna fix a coffee. Do you want one?
Sure.
Okay.
Vanilla latte with skim milk.
Okie dokes.
Okay.
So, Chris, what did you think about waking up inside the game with memories?
Yeah, I really wish we had another line of dialogue for that, especially when we learn about, how he's getting these clones of people. Apparently he's just doing it with some DNA, a little bit of saliva from a cup or a fingernail or something.
Yeah, you should require, like, a brain scan or something to have somebody's memories.
Yeah, exactly. And there was plenty of room for that. Like, the game is clearly really involved in your head, and they could have done something like, oh, he's snuck this bit of code in there so he can just, steal your brain or whatever, your brain pattern while you're playing.
he could have introduced Nanette to the code or whatever, and
yeah,
that could have actually, like, bonded their real life relationship a bit more, so that it was even more shocking when, like, oh, this shit's going on.
Yep. But yeah, there is absolutely nothing in your fingernail that knows the password to your photo account. So that bugged me a little bit. And
you'll live for now.
Yeah, that bugged me a little bit, and there was an easy way to get out of that. But that bit of the tech wasn't what the story was about.
It was the USS Callister, Space Fleet's finest, exploring the furthest reaches of the known universe and beyond. We are its loyal space crew, and now apparently, so are you. Cheers.
While we're here, what was this episode about? What were we trying to say? Black Mirror and science fiction and Star Trek, and I assume Space Fleet, are always trying to say something about society, and they're always trying to have a moral or have you learn something. So what was this episode talking about?
I'd say definitely office cruelty.
Yeah. There's a dynamic to that.
There's definitely a lot of sexual harassment going on.
Yeah. And, they're making statements about, how to actually deal with your interpersonal conflicts. And this is a guy in our main character here that just buries stuff and gets it out in very, very unhealthy ways. I also think it was sort of interesting that this was filmed before the whole Hollywood and Harvey Weinstein thing exploded. And there's a lot of, that kind of workplace Hollywood sexual harassment going on in this episode. And I think that it's pretty interesting to watch, and sort of the climate we've got going on for that right now.
He's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow.
Well, they didn't have genitals, Chris.
That's true. They didn't have genitals.
They couldn't even
There was a
poop.
limit. There was a limit.
Yeah, and you know Space Fleet, Chris, they don't do tongue.
No, they don't. I really want to. I want to watch this Space Fleet show.
Yeah,
I want to see how much he's gotten right and how much he is just horrifically distorted. Because I really doubt that a Space Fleet Kirk, was treating his crew like this. Daly even seems to espouse some traditional Star Trek and I assume Space Fleet morals there. He's like, this is about being the best of humanity and that sort of thing. And he's managed to warp this little fantasy world into something that just bears no resemblance to the actual thing. That it's just what he wants it to be.
yeah.
There we go.
But,
That's what this episode is about. It's about religion.
Yeah. Well,
It's about people who take their beliefs and they have like their holy book or their scripture or whatever, and they just pretend that it says what they want it to say. They just only take the parts that they already agree with, and they feel righteous about it.
Killing in cold blood is against Space Fleet code. Wish I could help.
Which is a complete cop. I mean, that probably is against the Space Fleet way.
yeah.
But,
Killing
we
another
all
person.
know that Daly doesn't give a crap about the Space Fleet way.
Yeah, he's pretty cruel at the beginning with Nanette
Yeah.
or whatever, just making her face go blank and be
Yeah.
like, you won't die from this.
You won't die, I can keep you like this forever if I feel like it. Forever gasping for a breath with a mouth that isn't there.
Yeah, that was a big thing to hold over their heads. It's like, you can suffer and not die here.
Yeah.
What did you think about the away missions and those planets?
Yeah, that was good. They didn't go full cardboard set, but the location that they did film at definitely really reminded me of the Vasquez Rocks, which we've seen 100 times in different episodes of Star Trek every which way.
Yeah, they even throw them in the comedies about Star Trek.
Yep.
Yeah, I really liked the creature effect too. I thought that was pretty on par.
Mm-hmm. Although we never really got creature designs that were that ambitious in TOS. And he did have the little toy of that creature that looked sort of roughly the same as what they were showing us, so I really want to know what that looked like in the show. Because I don't think Space Fleet had the budget for that.
You want to see the cardboard cutout version of that?
Yeah, I want to see the terrible Gorn version of what that bug was that he was basing this off of.
Yeah, you think about the Gorn and Enterprise or whatever, it's just like, the one in the original series looked really cool, but it didn't have the motion.
Yeah.
But the motion in Enterprise kind of made it look kind of fake.
Yeah, they didn't have the CGI to do it. They should have just got a good costume then, but yeah.
I think that was one of the things with Voyager and Enterprise was the CGI of like just certain
just a
shots.
touch early.
Yeah. Where it's almost better when Next Gen used matte paintings and stuff of like the Klingon Empire.
Yep.
But the show doesn't struggle with that. It's got the budget for it.
No, yeah, everything here looked beautiful.
Didn't you say they shot it in a short amount of time too?
Yeah, apparently I was reading an article and the shooting schedule was very cramped. I don't know a lot about acting in the business, but it's something that a lot of the actors were commenting on was apparently they had a very, very tight schedule when they actually got to filming. But still, all the sets and the props were completely on point. One of my favorite little details I noticed was they have their little insignia on their chest, but their uniform is actually patterned with it as well. If you look really close, it's this repeating pattern of that same Space Fleet insignia.
That seems to be a trend now, in the later Star Treks too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's deltas all down the side of the Discovery uniform.
Did you just send me an Infinity invite?
What? No.
It was really weird. It had a message attached. Something about people trapped in a game.
What do you think about Nanette contacting the outside world?
That was the sort of second weird issue with the plot. Was if all the buttons do the same thing, like what interface was she using to actually do this? Or, you know, maybe it's because they are part of the code that it's just context sensitive and it just presses the button that you want it to. Maybe that was it. But putting that aside, because that's super minor and nitpicky, what the hell was she expecting to happen the first time?
Yeah, she could have got a real-life version of her murdered.
Yeah, well, no, like, real-life version of her has absolutely no reason to go along with this.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't even put anything in there that would be like, you know, oh, maybe something only she would know about herself. She just said, hey, we're trapped in a video game.
Exit fucking game! Exit fucking game! Exit fucking game!
Pretty big moral implications. You know, she breaks into the place and she ends up basically leaving him in a coma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think he was fine. He was just trapped in there for whatever reason.
On the Christmas holidays.
Yeah, but because he's such a hermit, like, he's going to starve to death before anyone can actually get him out of there.
Well, he did eat a slice of pizza before the going in.
That's true. He might make it.
Yeah, might hold him off. I really enjoyed the transporter effects. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yep, yeah. One of the things... I remember when I first got into Star Trek, one of my favorite things was each new series that I watched would have a different looking transporter. And I remember looking forward to that when I'd start a new series. I was like, oh, I wonder what the transporter's going to look like.
When it went down to the second planet, what did you think about her distraction techniques?
Super lame. Like, I don't even know if he's into girls in this universe. Because, you know, they don't have genitals. Is that just extreme commitment to the space fleet thing?
Yeah.
Like, I figured, you know, maybe he's got a bunch of different programs, and this is like just the space fleet one, and there's a separate, like, sex dungeon program as well or something. Because, you know, based on what we've seen so far, I'm like, is he even gonna care? Like, wouldn't he rather you just stick to the goddamn mission when he's in this mode?
Cole, we should head out this way. Cole?
It's kind of hot here, don't you think?
Oh my God.
What are you doing, Cole?
The water looks so inviting, doesn't it?
He should have got pissed off when she started splashing water. It's like, haha, that's funny. Splash. It's like, it shows how socially, like, awkward he is.
Yeah, that's true. I did appreciate that you know, this girl throwing herself at him was actually, like, he's so awkward that it's breaking through this captain persona. Because he dropped character a bit.
Well, she was.
That scene.
She could have thrown herself at him a lot more convincingly. She was also fairly awkward about it.
Oh, I absolutely loved when they beamed down that she had that, like, you know, just dipshit smile on. She's like walking like this, like just the whole 60s brainless housewife thing going on. She's just so committed to playing this part.
Yeah, they did a great job, like, stepping in and out of character when they're doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
Take your post. That is an order.
I'm not doing this.
The whole thing's much better if you let yourself get into it.
You think that I'm playing along with your Space Force bullshit?
Space fleet.
Whatever.
I like the abandoned shuttle and everything. Like, clearly a set mission that they've had.
Yep.
But, well, there was supposed to be somebody in the shuttle, wasn't there?
I felt like there was.
Like, it was a rescue mission.
Yeah, it was a rescue.
Crash shuttle.
He didn't even clear out any bodies or something.
And the second they started pulling off or whatever, I was just like, oh, he's gonna fix this crash shuttle pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, everything in his little game seems to be absurdly easy.
Yeah.
Like, he has this set to the lowest difficulty level possible.
Well, he's also able to control it with his mind, too. Like,
Yeah.
just holding out his hand. I really liked near the end or whatever, where his buddy, Walton or whatever, starts apologizing to him. And it's just like, oh, I'm sorry, like, in the real world, I was a dick, and I treated you terrible, and I took advantage of you.
I was thinking I should say all that. But you threw my son out of an airlock, so fuck you to death.
Killed my kid, so
Killed my kid,
doesn't
fuck
matter.
yourself. Spaced him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was also a great scene, because it's just like, oh, like, he couldn't break me, he kept trying to break me, and then he brought my son. And it's just like, this game is so well detailed. You watch your son get spaced,
Yeah.
and it's just like, he couldn't do it again.
If you didn't think he was evil before,
Yeah.
if you thought there was some redemption coming.
Packer, we ready to fly?
You're supposed to say something like engage or increase thrust.
Just fucking go.
What do you think about the update?
I guess that's how you get out of that. There wasn't anything particularly wrong with it. It wasn't particularly original. It's just a...
I don't know if they were making fun of it, but I just thought it was kind of funny they jumped straight into the JJ version. Started out with a lens flare and everything.
Yeah. And the actual chase scene at the end, like, it turned into, like, we have to Star Trek solve this problem in order to get out of here. There's all the techno babble and, oh, we're gonna cut through the asteroid and then do, you know, good piloting and all that stuff.
Yeah, and of course he hits the asteroid at the end. I was just like, oh god.
So we started off sort of parodying Star Trek, and at the end we were solving it, you know, quite seriously in a Star Trek style.
Well, you know, it's a very advanced concept, Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the gamer guy at the end.
Yep, absolutely. And you recognize his voice?
Oh yeah, that was Aaron Paul.
That was Aaron Paul playing Gamer 691 or whatever. That was great. King of Space, bitch.
Nate?
Yes, Captain?
Stick us in hyperwarp and let's...
6.
fuck off somewhere.
Aye, Captain.
1. You better run. King of Space right here.
It'd be interesting to see if they could keep going from that. Like you said, if this was a series.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell they'd do, but
yeah.
I think I prefer the original.
Yeah, that's not how, it's definitely not how Black Mirror operates in general, but it would be cool to kind of see this keep going.
Well, I mean, think about if this became a really popular episode and, like, you know, became one of their best episodes, would they go back?
Maybe someone would get the rights to it, but I don't think that's... They like to do a Twilight Zone thing and do something different every time.
I gotta say that Robert Daly looked a lot like Matt Damon.
Meth Damon?
Meth Damon? Maybe.
Well, he was Meth Damon in Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, I'm looking at him and he's talking, I was like, I know it's not Matt Damon, but I'm gonna have to IMDb this. Yeah, make sure. Yeah. Did I IMDb it right? Am I sure he's not Matt Damon? A few times. I'm just like,
I want to believe.
Yeah, you know, if his acting career ever just crashes, he could totally be Matt Damon's stunt double.
Yep. Yep.
No, I really enjoyed this episode. It was a lot of fun. Very Star Trek-esque. Almost Orville-esque, but a little more serious.
Yeah, more serious, more dark. But it's just, you know, as usual, it's great to see more high-quality science fiction stuff coming out there.
Yeah.
Especially when it's all dressed up in a Star Trek skin.
Oh, yeah.
You're the intern from work, right? Nate?
Packer.
Something.
Nate Packer. Wait, so I'm still just the intern out there? Jesus.
We'll see you on Star Trek Discovery.